Sup? Welcome to the video. Enjoying my sour candy. This video, you're in for a treat. I'm gonna give you some insight, some truth, some bullshit, and more truth. This is gonna be all behind the scenes of the business side of Chase. What I do, who I hang out with, what works, what doesn't. In the world of social media, of podcasting, of interneting, of all the things. You're in for a real treat. I'm not gonna hold anything back. You're gonna get an inside look into who I hang out with and why. And life lessons in 3 years now. 3 years of being self-employed, making a shit ton of mistakes, and learning a shit ton more. Yeah. Welcome to the video. Oh, and you can take me seriously because I'm wearing glasses. It makes me smarter. Day one, heading down to San Diego. Impact Collective X. First, we're going to Starbucks to make our own coffee. If you ever come to Laguna Niguel, you want the best customer service in a Starbucks, it's this one. Marina Hills. It's the corner of Marina Hills and Golden Lantern, I think. Hey! All right, so got coffee, we're filling up in gas here, heading down to San Diego, and I wanted to tell you all, give you all a little bit of the behind the scenes of like my business and kind of like a typical day in the life of work for me. Now, yes, conferences for me this day and age are pretty common. I go to conferences, seminars, expos, probably once or twice a month. So this really is kind of an average day in the life for me for work. And overall, before we get into like the details and the actual like what I do, when and why, bottom line, my business this day and age is it's relationship building. It's going to these events, getting real life interactions with people, getting to know their story, because then I kind of go home, I mull it over, I figure who's going to be a good guest on the podcast, who maybe could be a great guest on somebody else's show, where can I help other people first. I kind of just go, I learn, I put myself in the environment, get to know these people, and then go home, build an action plan afterwards. Maybe for coaching, maybe for the podcast, maybe for referrals. At its core, it's relationship building for me. So that's what we're doing today. All right, so we are almost at the venue here in San Diego, and like I said, number one, it's a bumpy ride. Number one thing that I strive for is relationship building, because that really does, I think, start with a level playing field of letting people know who I am, my intentions, my business, what I have to offer, but vice versa, who they are and how maybe I can help them, what's their unique area of expertise, just relationship building 101. You don't like meet somebody and then 5 seconds later propose to them. Maybe you do, I don't know. But it's courting, it's dating. And then so after that, then it's a matter of, okay, cool. Here's how I can be of service to you. Here's maybe how you can help me in a genuine manner, of course. But the two streams of my business are the podcast and coaching. So I work one-on-one with people getting started in the coaching space, health coaching, fitness and nutrition, or who are relatively new-ish, but doing it for a while and they want to grow, they want to scale, only as much as I think I can help them. How far have I been in a similar path? Have I been in their shoes before? And then how can I help them? And then outside of that is the podcast. So maybe I meet someone who has gone through so much in life or just has a really cool, unique story, and I want to bring them on the show, or I make a referral for them, and it goes from there. So it starts with relationship building. It starts with getting to know each other. Then it's a matter of are they going to go down one of my two tracks in my business? Is it going to be coaching or is it going to be the podcast? And that's what we're going to find out here for the next 2 days. keep it in anyway. All right, so day one of Impact Collective X, or RAP, I love coming to these events because while I don't really wholeheartedly consider myself a strict coach, I still do coaching, which is exactly what I want to talk about here. It's still just a great environment to be around driven people. I cannot hype going to a live event, whether it's a workshop, a remote summit, anything where you can be around human beings and get the vibe, get the energy, is no doubt going to give you an idea, something new, or spark something familiar to actually take action on. So get out, go do real life shit. So I want to talk to you, keeping in mind with the whole business philosophy behind the scenes of a day in the life of what I do and why I do. Again, the two tracks being podcasting and coaching. I realized I just kind of might have sounded like a hypocrite. I said I don't do coaching. I actually said I don't fully wholeheartedly identify as a coach because I've really kind of split myself up into two, coaching and podcasting. So for coaching, Everforward Coach is a company, a program. Technically, it used to be an app that I launched about 3 years ago when I was still working as a health coach in this concierge medical model. And I started taking on clients, on the side, working with people in person in my gym, in my apartment back in DC. And from there, I thought that was the next step. I thought, well, that's who I was. That's what I went to school for. That's what I got my degrees and certifications in. So that's the obvious next step, because I fully did enjoy that. I enjoyed working with people and seeing the transformation, seeing that light bulb just click in their head of, I can live the way that I want. I can move the way that I want. I get my health and my life back. Long story short, about 2 years later, when I hired Jason as my coach to help kind of breathe new life into my coaching business, at that time I had close to about 7 other coaches, health and fitness coaches working with me, and that's all we did, health and fitness coaching. And I had one phone call with that guy, and he helped me realize that that's not me anymore. That's not what I want to keep doing full time. So I scrapped it, and I paid him a significant amount of money to not do something, but instead he instilled in me the permission to stop trying to stay latched onto that identity, that it was okay for me to move on and pursue new passions, which really was the podcast and production, which we'll get into in a second here. But I still love the coaching aspect. I love seeing that light bulb switch for people, but now it's just other coaches. So whether they're health and fitness coaches, whether they're just fitness, just nutrition, really all the people that I work with now, they kind of do all of that, as well as the podcasting stuff, which is a great world. It's a great community for me to pour back into, because that's exactly what I've done, what I continue to do, and honestly where I see myself still going. So Everforward Coach no longer is just health and fitness coaching. I coach other coaches, health and fitness coaches, other podcasters. I have decided to keep my certification fresh. I renewed my certified health coach license, whatever you want to call it, last year, so I'm good for a couple of more years. For a value add in my content, anytime I talk about anything health, wellness related, I've got that credential, and it does mean something in this world. My bachelor's, my master's, and all of that. But for the coaching, for Everforward Coach, I now pour into other coaches. I strictly work B2B. I also run a small mentorship of personal development. So basically now I just coach others in the ways that have helped me as a human being, personally, professionally, and I coach others to live a life ever forward. It's not just a sign-off tag. It's not just a mantra. It is all of those things. It is a belief system, but I help others kind of realize that in themselves so that they can take that, make it their own meaning, and move on in the direction that they want to build their life and their business. So Everforward Coach, that's what it is. January 2004. I was stationed, I was in the military at the time, I was in the Army. I was stationed up in Monterey, California, like straight shot up from here. My dad was flying out to visit me. to convince me not to quit on myself, to convince me not to stop the very beginning of my journey. See, my father, he was my hero. He was the reason why I joined the military. It was this big, long family legacy. And I wanted to be a part of that. But just a couple weeks before that, we all did this big last family trip, Christmas. We went to New York City. And at the end of that, dropped this bomb on us. Hey guys, I don't know how much longer I have to live. Hilton San Diego Bayfront. Kind of a struggle for me to really effectively communicate and put into words like the serendipitousness of it all. Pretty much exactly 2 years ago to the weekend, I was here. My first big opportunity, just 2 months, barely 3 months after I left my job in December of 2017. My first big opportunity for podcast chase. And that's what I'm going to talk about here. I've been talking about coaching. Here's the other big section of my business and what I do now. Bedros Keuilian and his team thought highly enough of me in the show for whatever reason to bring me out, to invite me in to basically record and interview all of their guest speakers. Some high caliber guest speakers, people that were doing this for way, way, way longer than I even have now. People that I looked up to, people that I listened to and read, and were big catalysts and reasons as to why I left my job and jumped all in on what I'm doing now. That podcast weekend, that podcast capture, one of the people that I actually met, one of the people that I interviewed was one of the speakers then. His name was Jason Phillips. That's when I first met him in real life. We had kind of begun the internet, getting to know each other thing. Fast forward 2 years later, last weekend of February here, 2020, I'm back at Jason Phillips' own event. A mentor, a friend of mine, a coach, my personal coach that I invested in last year, that completely talked me out of health coach chase, something that I had to abandon this identity and say goodbye to a team of other coaches that were working with me because he called me out. He could hear that I wasn't fully in, and I was just trying to breathe life into something that I didn't want to. Not to say that it was dead, it was thriving, it was doing well, but like I was making it struggle more than it needed to because I wasn't fully invested in it. And my heart, my soul, where I wanted the future of the majority of my business and my day-to-day to go was in the podcasting world, because so many years as a coach, so many years as a human being, so many years as a soldier, so many years as a leader, as a father, a brother, a son, all of these things, it kept instilling in me this sense of story. And I fell in love with that on the podcast platform. I fell in love with that when I talked with somebody on the phone, in Zoom, in real life, coaching. It's really their story. Let me share my story with you to make you feel more at ease, to humanize me, and we can connect as two human beings. And then we can really work through the shit. We can work through your fitness, your nutrition, all the things that coaching does. And I kept going deeper with story. And he helped me realize that last year. So when I hired him and we created what I'm doing now in the podcasting world, it's not just my show, but he helped me create this product, this thing that we called Operation Podcast, as what I know will be, this is my big vision, the ultimate one-stop community for education, production, and consulting for the podcasting platform, which I mark my words, this will be the next big thing for storytellers, for brands, for movies, for coaches, for businesses, because of the aspect of being a storytelling platform. And that's what I'm going all in on. That's what Jason helped me realize last year. And I was just further solidified today by hearing all these speakers and coaches and marketers and influencers, and not a single shred of doubt in my mind when they're asking questions about, do you struggle with this in your business? Do you struggle with this in your fulfillment? It's because no, because I have total fulfillment in what I am doing. I'm fully fulfilled in the coaching business as well. I love pouring into those other people, but now that I'm helping other people help other people in that column of my business, I love it. Now the major column, the big foundation one, the big boy, the big burly ass motherfucking big ass column is storytelling, is podcasting. I get to do it for a living for my show. I'm so grateful. I get to do it for a living to help others consult and create theirs, and creating Operation Podcast, which is going to be the biggest podcasting community and event ever. Mark my words, in the next couple of years. And it's all because of Jason Phillips. It's all because of the people in that room. It's all because of the people that we have continued to immerse ourselves in and with and for the past 2 years. And it all started here. Hilton, thank you. But to Bedros, to Jason, to everybody, it means the world. You continuing to act in fulfillment and with intention for your passion helps others do exactly the same. So that is the other big tier of my business. That is the other big way in which I spend most of my time, actually. Most of the days a week, I'm doing podcasting stuff, doing interviews, scheduling, getting sponsors, securing sponsors, making sure that they're actually getting the content and things that I can promise, and then working with others, consulting on making their show better, optimizing it, making it more money for them, realizing that you can make money on it, and helping launch other people's shows. So that's what I do, Chase, on Everforward Radio, and that's what Operation Podcast is, and those are my businesses. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. A lot of different things going on in here of the event, the businesses, and that's what I spend my time doing now, and that's what you're going to see here on my YouTube channel, outside of a couple other things like military topical videos. But hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, that's Podcast Chase.